Butte woman was recognized for helping wounded veterans from the Vietnam War when she was still only a teenager. MTN's John Amy tells us how her service was honored after all these years.
Helen Brown was just a child when the Vietnam War was raging, but that didn't stop her from helping out the wounded troops when they returned home.
They were fighting for us. They were fighting so I could go to school, so that I could have the freedom to go to my prom.
Her service was recognized last month with the Department of Defense Certificate and Medal of Appreciation. The Butte resident and member of the Butte chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution helped wounded troops who had returned from the Vietnam War at the Fort Sam Houston Army Hospital in San Antonio, Texas. She did this between the ages of 11 and 17.
They would just be rows of stretchers of these soldiers. They were burnt, their legs were missing, their arms were missing. So it wasn't unusual for me to go get bedpans and urinals and water. I've never smoked a day in my life, but I've lit 10,000 cigarettes.
The terrible injuries and trauma that she witnessed while caring for those troops back in that hospital still affects her today, even after all these years.
My brother's widow and his children, we were on a trip and my ankles swelled. And she wanted to put me in a wheelchair. She's a nurse practitioner. Putting me in that wheelchair, I was right back in that hospital. I could even see the green dress with the white daisies on it I was wearing. It was like, no. You never know when something's going to remind you.
Despite the pain, it's important to remember the stories of those who served.
It's a story of the Vietnam War and how horrific it really was for our young men and women.
In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Brown said she urges our government to support wounded veterans and provide them with funding for health care needs.